Thank you for tuning in to another Better FAQ video series. I want to talk about the difference between membership models of a 501c3 versus a 501c6. Now, 501c is the designation for nonprofit organizations. There are typically three different kinds that you're going to see in practice: 501c3, 501c4, and 501c6. We skip over 5 there. 501c6, we'll go backwards, is going to be typically what is commonly referred to as a business league. 501c6s are called that because they are usually going to be the collection of a number of different businesses or individuals or associations that are in some common type of business vertical or some common type of interest or segment of a business, something along those lines where they're all tied together for some reason, and then they pay membership dues to be a part of that business league, and they get certain benefits like information about what's going on with that business. They can group together for discounts. They can use that for bargaining power. Kind of sounds like a union. It's not. So 501c6, business leagues typically. One thing to distinguish there between 501c6 and other 501c designations is that typically with a 501c6, any of those membership fees and anything that is contributed financially to the organization is not tax deductible as a charitable contribution. It can maybe be a business write-off, but it's not a charitable contribution deduction. Now, 501c3, we're not going to really touch on 501c4 here. Those are primarily used for legislative lobbying type activities. Think super PAC. We're not going to talk about that here, because 501c3 and 501c6 are commonly the types of 501cs that have membership organizations or have membership structures rather. So a 501c3, those donations, those contributions are going to be tax deductible as a charitable contribution, unlike the 501c6. Now, the big difference between 501c6 and 501c3 when you have membership in those organizations is that typically with a 501c6, that membership is actually baked into the structure, meaning the internal paperwork like the bylaws of the nonprofit organization. So with a 501c6, members are actually contemplated, they are given rights in the bylaws, and they can actually, in some instances, most of the time, elect the board members. So typically speaking, let's call it a business league. I'm a part of a business league called Business for Good San Diego. We do local political advocacy, and in that organization, the members, all of the businesses that are a part of the organization, $25 a month, I think $250 for the year, paying those membership dues is a business write-off. It's not a charitable contribution deduction, and I do have a right to vote for the election of the board members for the board of directors of that 501c6 that are actually the folks that make most of the decisions and steward the organization. And that's a very important aspect to highlight. All of the members have a vote on who the board is. No one owns a nonprofit organization, so the board, by all intents and purposes, is essentially the ownership of the organization as far as decision making goes. They don't own anything. No one owns an organization. There's no stock. There's no way legally to own it. But because the members can appoint and vote to appoint the board of directors, technically speaking, the members really have a lot of control over how that organization is run. And a lot of the time, the membership will also want one member on the board of directors that is the membership representative as well. So you can see where if they elect the board members and they have a seat on the board, the members really wield a lot of power in a 501c6 organization, which can mean that it ends up doing all kinds of different things that maybe the founders, maybe even the executive director, and even the board didn't anticipate or plan for because the membership voted for it to happen. Now, 501c3, on the other hand, typically is not going to build the membership into their bylaws, into that internal governance paperwork. Instead, it's a little bit more of an informal membership donation model where anybody that wants to support the organization can donate on a regular basis and call that membership dues, and then they might actually receive something in return. Maybe the organization works with local artisans to teach them entrepreneurial skills, and as a member, you get one product from an artisan every year. Or let's say it's another political advocacy organization, and with your membership dues, you get special access to or special early reservations to meetings with, I don't know, someone that's important that you're going to talk to about a political thing. I have to be careful with talking about the political advocacy because a 501c3 can advocate for different types of change politically and locally. They can't support a candidate or a specific legislation. So that example works. Maybe as a member, you guys get special dibs and early reservations to one of those meetings with a politician to talk to them about an issue. These aren't the best examples. They're right off the top of my head. But the idea here being is that with a 501c3, you might get a few things, a couple small things from the organization, materials, products, or special experiences, but that will have to be offset in your contribution when you report that for taxes against the value of whatever you receive. And again, under 501c3, members typically, unless you build it into your bylaws, which is not common, do not have a right to elect the board members. They can't vote on anything the organization does. They merely pay a membership due. They maybe get some things in return, and they can consider themselves a member of that 501c3 organization. Now, there's some in-between ground with 501c3s. If you want to give members a voting right on certain things, specific initiatives, because it's not formal typically, you have the leeway to create that middle ground in a 501c3. And so if there's anything that you leave this video with, I would like it to be that the main and the important difference between a 501c3 and a 501c6 is that in a 501c6, membership is official, it's formalized, and the members have rights. They can vote board members in, they can vote them out, and they make decisions on behalf of the organization, whereas with a 501c3, no such luck for the members. They contribute membership dues, they probably get some things of value in return. Maybe they have some voting rights on some specific things, but most of the time they do not. And you can see where the pros and cons come in here. As a member of a 501c6, you have much more power, which means you have much more responsibility. I think Stan Lee said it best, with great power comes great responsibility. And I even stumbled through it after seeing it in a million Spider-Man movies. But with a 501c3, the organization and the board members, the appeal is to them because they have full control over the organization, as opposed to in a 501c6 where they're subject to the whim of the members and their votes. So 501c3, 501c6, membership models, very different. 501c6 is formal, they have rights, they can vote. 501c3, typically no rights, no voting. Hope this was helpful, hope it was clarifying, and I hope that whatever nonprofit organization you're going to start, you're going to do some awesome work, and maybe you'll have members. Tune in again. Thanks.